So I made a terrible mistake while washing my car the other day when I grabbed one of these Brillo type scouring pads to clean some spots off the windshield. I didn't realize how stupid this was until the next morning when I noticed that my windshield was covered with all of these scratch marks. The lighting here makes them appear a bit worse than they actually are, but it's still super annoying knowing that they are there. They're mostly visible when driving into the sun, but I'm aware of them in other lighting conditions as well. So I tried buffing them out with toothpaste and using a glass sealant similar to Rain-X, but nothing has worked so far, so I'm going to try to use a glass cleaning compound like Cerium Oxide. I ordered this kit from Amazon, which contains a pouch of cerium oxide and a felt buffing wheel that attaches to a drill. I'm going to soak the felt buffing wheel in water while mixing the cerium oxide paste. This will help keep the cerium oxide paste from drying out too fast. This stuff is really pretty easy to work with, and if it does dry out, you can just reconstitute it with more water. But I mix it with enough water until it's about the consistency of pancake batter. I'm going to mix up a small batch here using about 3 teaspoons of the powder, and then I'll add just enough water to get the consistency that I like. It looks a little thin at this point, so I'll add some more powder. And it looks like it's going to need just a little bit more powder. And that looks about right, almost the consistency of pancake batter. Next, I'll coat the buffing wheel with the cerium oxide paste. Then I'll do the same thing to the windshield, and you can tell that it's beating up because of the glass sealer that I previously used, but that's okay. And I'll show this first pass in real time so you can get an idea of what I'm doing, and then I'll speed through the rest of the applications to save time. I'll start working on a small test area as shown here. And on a side note, make sure that the buffing wheel that you use is made out of soft felt material like the one on the left pictured here. The one on the right is from another Amazon vendor, and it's hard as a rock and can leave swirl marks. So I spent about 45 seconds on the first pass, and it showed some improvement without damaging the glass, so I'll continue with pass number 2 and go for about another minute. Things are continuing to get better, so I'm going to expand the area for pass number 3 and go for another minute or so. There's the expanded area that we're working on. And I'll do one more pass for another minute and expand the area a little bit more. And to my disbelief, this is actually working. Here's a before shot. And after. But let's move on to the next area and see what we can do with it. I was almost certain that I would end up needing some kind of dual action random orbital buffer, but I found as long as I keep the work area small that using the drill on these minor scratches is effective. This is a minute-long buffing session that I've edited down for the sake of time, and there's still some scratches here that are still visible. Here's what we started with. So let's give it another go for another minute and see where we stand. This stuff does get all over everything, by the way, although it's pretty easy to clean up. And after another minute of buffing, that seemed to do the trick. Now, there were also some scratches on the passenger side that proved to be a bit more difficult. Part of the problem was that I was trying to cover too large of an area at once with the 3-inch buffing attachment. But with some patience, I finally got it looking pretty decent. For larger areas and deeper scratches, I would probably recommend some kind of dual action polisher, but for my purposes, I'm pleased with these results and I'm relieved that it worked as well as it did.